like unapologetic nerds. Like we're all, ready and willing to spend, hours, just doing, problem sets for our physics or our, math class. And for other times, maybe stay up till 2 a.m. coding for a robotic fish. I'll be honest, we do some crazy things, and I want friends who, I know will be up to do these crazy things because it's something they find fun too. So really the character and community of a school is something that I find very important.
Yeah, those are really important factors that people don't really think about. And then when Caelin was talking about reach schools earlier, if reach school, she says something above my GPA. I have let's say for instance, I have a 3.0. Should I be applying to Harvard or Princeton as a reach school, or is that something that's out of the picture, Caelin?
I think that would probably be out of the picture unless you had like something else that's like really amazing about you. Reach schools are different for everyone. So for some people, it might be a school with like a 40 or 30% acceptance rate. For others, it might be like MIT, like a 6% acceptance rate. It kind of depends on you. It's more looking at your own GPA, your own statistics, your own story, and seeing like how would you fit in. Would you be able to make it on that campus? And then also, I think that this is kind of important when you're thinking about reach schools, is would you be able to transition academically with the resources they have? Like for me, coming from a vocational school, I haven't taken APs or anything. So I want to know that a reach school would have resources for me to like academically transition into their curriculum rather than expecting me to like immediately adapt, which some schools don't necessarily have because they expect like all their students to be at that level since they're like been accepted.
Yeah, absolutely. David, you want to say something to say?
Yeah. To add to that, yes, I feel as though like when it comes to these reach schools that are super high level academically, you want to consider what kind of rigor you're going to have to go through in those schools, because the shock can be very drastic. I have family member stories or stories of family members who dropped out of courses like as soon as the first semester was over because it was too difficult for them. But I will say that it's not always reserved for those who are like the ideal picture perfect student. I had this, given to me by a school in a pamphlet actually, that when they're choosing their students, they're not choosing all the, the exact same, robotic copy of, the ideal student. They're choosing, a team of climbers, around 5,000 strong, to climb up a mountain together for the next 4 years, right? And so no matter where you stand, unless you don't qualify in terms of what they want to admit. Never underestimate yourself, I guess, because you never know until you apply. Again, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I just want to, before we go into the commercial break, is just really note that the college application process in terms of selecting colleges is really, as Caelin said earlier, it's about the matter of the head. Right, the matter not of the heart. The heart is saying, I want sunny weather. I want to have fall sports and all these parties and things that our appetites get us excited about. Right, the best food.
Exactly.
But you want to think about what is going to help you get through get through college, and that's financial aid, that is strong academic supports, that is a great career support program that can lead to internships, to jobs, and so forth. So things that will help you become a great professional, because choosing a college and going to college is about being a strong professional. And that's something that's really important that I think a lot of scholars and students don't know. But we're looking forward to really connecting with all of you for the rest of the evening and really dig deep into it. So I would like to just tell everyone to please sign up on Facebook. Right now, ask some questions. Log on to Facebook, ask some questions to, well, you're already on Facebook, but ask any particular questions for our panelists tonight. We want them, we need them, and so forth. And also, make sure you join this wonderful program called TeenSharp. Going to teensharp.org/college knowledge. So we're on break.
I don't know, ever since I was small, I knew I wanted to do something. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to give back to my community. And for that reason, I knew that college was for me.
I moved here from the Dominican Republic 2 years ago, and I had no idea about the education system or how it worked. And I didn't speak English at all. And TeenSharp was a great help for me to like guide me and tell me all the things I had to do. And Miss Kim and Miss Tatiana were always there, and you know, the whole team were always there to teach me and to guide me.
I've been in TeenSharp for 4 years, ever since I was a freshman. TeenSharp has played a big role in my life. I go every majority of the Saturdays, not even gonna lie.
I just want to be an example for everyone that's coming after me, and I want to be able to be that person for someone who is looking up to me, because I know there's a lot of people who are counting on me. So the main thing is just the fact that I want to be an example, and I want to, you know, let people know that it is possible to do.
Letting down be my mom.
Bueno, mejor yo no sé cómo decirlo, pero me siento muy orgulloso de usted por todo lo que está haciendo en su estudio.
But you are my hero.
You're my hero.
You are the person more honest that I know in my life. And I want to say in English because I want that you know that I am trying.
Nikai, I will always love you. You're always a very strong girl, no matter what the decision is. Always know I will support you and I will always be there. And you can make it. You are a very strong, intelligent girl. And I'm always forever gonna be proud of you, no matter what the decision is.
I am honored to be your mother. I am so honored to be your mother.
Hi, Alex. It's Barnard from Pittsburgh College. I'm here with Natalia in Paris.
Hi.
And we wanted to offer you your acceptance to Pittsburgh class of 2024.
Come see Mom.
No, I'm dying here.
Hey, congratulations!
You got it?
Hi, Nikai. It's Barnard from Pittsburgh College.
Hi.
I'm here with Paris and Natalia.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm okay.
Well, you're actually going to be a whole lot better as a part of Pittsburgh College.
It says your connection was interrupted. Okay, welcome to Carleton College on behalf of the admissions committee and the Carleton
Oh, baby, I love you. I love you. I love you so much. This is yours. This is yours.
Oh, welcome back. I'm Anthony Phillips, pre-college success manager at TeenSharp, and we are back for another episode again of College Knowledge. Today's topic is we're exploring how to select a college, and we have some 3 experts here today. We've been having a great time. They're making me laugh in between the breaks, which is great. So today, want to ask the question, like, take us more deeply into how do you even get to a list? People they hear like how you all, put together the list and so forth, but I talked about 4,500 colleges out there. Like, how do you even find them? So, Tariah, you want to talk more about that?
Yeah, I definitely can start. So before I joined TeenSharp, I didn't have a list. Ironically, Johns Hopkins is where I wanted to go, only because one of my teachers was like, Johns Hopkins is a good school if you want to be a doctor. And then that was my top school until I joined TeenSharp, and I started attending the college info sessions, and I started talking with my advisors, and they started letting me know, like, you need to pick schools that would be a great fit for you. So I started establishing my list a little more, and then doing the research and finally coming to like my final schools, top schools.
Yeah, I think something that was really important for me were fly-in programs and then also info sessions. So fly-in programs are something you apply to in like the spring and the summer and then like a little bit into the fall. They're selective programs that would in a normal year allow you to visit the campus for free and kind of interact with the students and the faculty. This year they were online, but I was still able to kind of gauge like how I would fit in, if I would feel comfortable there. Like for example, I went to a fly-in at Harvey Mudd. Even though it was a really good school, I knew it wasn't for me because I would prefer to be a little more interdisciplinary and they like to focus on like STEM. So that was really helpful. And then info sessions are very similar in that a lot of times they have info sessions with students or with admissions officers where you can learn more about the school, their application process, but then you can also learn kind of from students their perspectives of how they might feel on campus regarding like different things that they might experience or like their classes and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
Go ahead. Come on.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, I'll be heard then. Yeah. So first, I'd like to say thank you for calling us experts. I feel like I'm on, like on a train ride that's not going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I'm going through it, so I might as well advise the people who are about to go through it too. So yeah, I mean, for me, first it was really the end of my junior year where I started to say, all right, I got to get serious. What colleges am I really interested in because of the things they offer, programs and stuff like that. So first I looked at what colleges wanted to give their students, what their environment sort of looked like, right? So a look from the outside, I tried to give each school. And so I narrowed it down to around like 15, 20 schools. And then over the summer, I applied to a lot of fly-in programs as Caelin did, and for a lot of these schools that I were on my top 10 list. And so I found that when I got to do fly-ins, and fly-ins, as Caelin described, allow you to meet the faculty, meet some of the students. They help you get a better sense of what it really is like there, right? When you can have like a one-on-one or, a true like info session with the student there and get their actual, unfiltered opinion about the school, and okay, this is what kind of person you'd find at the school, and this is what the school is like from the inside, right? You want to get that insider info. And so I feel that was very valuable for helping me select my schools because, for example, Olin College of Engineering, I loved the kids there, right? I love the students there. They're all like really fantastic, quirky in their own kind of way. And, not only that, but the job opportunities that are offered, by the end of senior year when you're there, really drew me in, because they have, I feel like I'm, admissions officer for Olin at this point, but I gotta admit, it's a fantastic school. They have connections to, companies such as, Microsoft, Intel even, that give students internships or reserve internship slots for Olin students because they know the caliber of students that go there, right? And so to have that sort of, accessibility to opportunity, in such a small, tight-knit community is just right for me. That's just, and so that really helped me figure out, through like talking with students, talking with staff, talking with alumni, it really, helped me shape my idea of where I'm going to be spending my next 4 years. And I think that's really valuable because you can't just base it off of what they're advertised to you because everybody's going to advertise, but you got to get past that,
And I was just going to speak to that. So getting beyond the advertising and the formal aspect of going to the info sessions and even going to the fly-ins, what helped a lot to me and is still helping is watching YouTube videos. I would watch college vlogs and I would look at frequent Q&A sessions of students that went to Howard or students that went to Pitzer. And that was pretty awesome. And then even like beyond going to like info sessions, I would attend, since like I mentioned before, the Black experience mattered a lot to me. So I even attended Pitzer's BSU meetings. And luckily enough, the Pitzer president was even there. So I even got to personally ask him questions. So that's even awesome as well.
Wow. Well, that's right. Let me stay with you right there. So we just had the new vice president-elect Kamala Harris, right? And so there's been this, speaking of YouTube and social media, there's been things flying around social media saying that, okay, HBCUs versus PWIs, right? What are the benefits of going to an HBCU versus PWI from your standpoint that we see, for students? What are the, some of the benefits of an HBCU experience?
Yeah, so the biggest benefit for me personally, as I keep mentioning, I'm a Black woman in America, which is extremely important to me because it affects and shapes every aspect of my being here in everyday life. So I just thought like that I'm constantly a minority in America, at least for 4 years, to be a majority and to be amongst a diaspora of excellence, Black excellence especially. a vice president went to an HBCU, especially Howard specifically, my dream. So that matters a lot to me, especially like within the difference of a PWI and an HBCU, especially the PWIs that I was looking at. The percentages of black students there are pretty slim. So going to an HBCU meant a lot to me in terms of being amongst black students that are excelling just as much as me or even more. And to just have that encouragement and motivation means a lot to me.
Absolutely. And absolutely, one thing I just want to note is that when applying to HBCUs, you want to definitely make sure, because when we talk more about the endowments, that school is great experiences. However, you want to make sure you're one of the top students, so you can be able to make yourself eligible for an HBCU scholarship.
I just wanted to add, even like Howard, as you may know, HBCUs don't really have as much funding. So me getting a financial coverage isn't guaranteed. So I do have a plan. So if I don't get that coverage, I plan to go ED2 to Pitzer College, which is also a really good college. The black experience there, I've spoke to black students there. It's a school that is known for its student advocacy and activism, which is really important for me as a fellow student activist. And that's what Pitzer's known for, and that means a lot to me. So I trust that if Howard doesn't work out, that Pitzer's also a great option for me as well.
Well, we're going to call it up to God. Let it happen. I went to Morehouse College as an exchange student, even though I went to Bates College in Maine. And so one of the opportunities that many students don't know, if you do have a really firm love of going to an HBCU, but you also want the PWI experience, go to where you can go, where you love to go, especially if it's affordable. But they do have domestic exchange programs at some of these colleges where you can go to Morehouse or Spelman or Howard or Hampton. And I went to Bates in Maine, which was 2% black, maybe one. And they paid for me to have a domestic exchange experience at Morehouse College in Atlanta, and I enjoyed it, and it was really good. So that's one of the benefits for a study abroad for me to do that. So talk a little bit more about like some of these things that we hear in terms of like retention rates and graduation rates. You know, why are those things important when selecting a college list?
So I believe that graduation rates are important because it shows how many people are thriving in the environment. Because TeenSharp teaches us that colleges should have an 80% or above graduation rate. Because you don't want to go to a college and then all your friends are dropping out and you're the only one left, because you're not going to feel motivated to continue your education. But it's also showing that the college itself might not be supportive and might not have the resources that students need to stay in the institution. And so a really good way of finding these is using the college scorecard. It's a government-run website that allows you to look at all the different colleges in the United States and see things like their average financial aid for different income groups, retention rates of how many students are coming back year after year to complete their degree, and then graduation rates of how many students finish after 4 years.
Right, there you go. Yeah, and take us through, some students are, having issues with finding their safety school.
Right.
I mean, David got out there some of the best reaches in the world on this list. But like, how do you find your safety school that really fits you? I know we talked about that earlier, but just go in more details like we did talk about the reach.
Right. Yeah. So to find a safety school, it's funny you're asking me this question. The top 3 or 2 reaches and maybe target. But I mean, for safety school, and this is like my safety school is University of Delaware, and there's a reason it's University of Delaware, because there are an abundant number of colleges in this area. And it's because I've had so much exposure to the school, and I find that I am comfortable there, right? That's been my environment for quite some time, with doing, either from research with some of the graduate students there to some of the time I've spent traveling through the area. So I find determining your safety school can come down a lot to where can I still have a good college experience, or can I still get the knowledge that I'm really going to need to advance myself and make in my career, things like that. But just make it somewhere you're going to enjoy, not somewhere it's just like, oh well, I have to pay the least, so that's going to be my safety. Make it somewhere that if you do end up going, you're not going to be upset about it, or as upset as you would be if it was something else. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like even though UD is a primarily white institution, I still feel as though the certain extracurriculars and club activities for specifically black culture would help keep me comfortable.
Yeah. So I heard you all earlier mention fly-ins. Like, how do you find these fly-in programs? Where did you find them at?
So I actually found my fly-ins through TeenSharp.
Okay.
Yeah, so through TeenSharp and going to my advising sessions, they would throw out fly-ins, and then I would look for the schools that I was interested in and look on their websites and see if they offered fly-ins, which fortunately for the most part they did, and I applied to.
What was the fly-ins like for you?
They were pretty awesome. I got into Swarthmore College, Harvey Mudd College, Johns Hopkins, and one more, but I forget.
So, audience, typically fly-ins aren't virtual. These fly-ins were virtual this year because of the COVID-19 crisis. But colleges literally pay you transportation, sometimes your parents, to go to these schools and so forth.
Right.
What did you learn from your fly-in experience, Caelin?
I think from my flying experience, I definitely learned about the school more in depth. I think more than you would learn in like a typical information session, just because of the fact that you get to interact with students and faculty. And normally in info sessions, you either get to interact with like admissions officers or students. And they were very real. Like there were students there who talked about like problematic parts of their school that they didn't really like and didn't expect when they were going there. But I think the most important part for me was like I said earlier, like Harvey Mudd was like a really STEM school, and I didn't really know a lot about Harvey Mudd before I tended to fly in. I was like, oh, like that's not for me because I like science and other subjects. And so I think that it kind of helps you gauge your fit and like if that's a community that you would feel supported in and you would feel like you would thrive in.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I was just going to say that like people don't think to go to a lot of admission sessions. Like some of your high schools offer information sessions and so forth. What is it important to build a relationship with the colleges while you're at those admission sessions?
Oh yeah.
David's shaking his head.
I mean, I'll be honest.
You're doing a lot of talking with them.
Yeah. I mean, as much as you hate to say it, connections matter, and knowing certain people matters. And I mean, even if it's just just a basic email or reach out to an admissions officer for a school you want to go to or a school you're interested in, they're going to note that. Right, they're going to notice that you take an interest, and for how long you've taken interest. Right, they're going to know that you're sort of committed to that school, or you're committed to learning more about that school. And I feel as though these information sessions, even like the mail back, like pamphlets you get from colleges, demonstrates to the college that you are looking for them, and that that they're not just sending out into the void. And so that's very important to show demonstrated interest. And I feel as though that really. It would help your chances.
Ooh, can I add on to this?
Go ahead.
So like I know, for example, Tulane, I applied their early action and they take demonstrated interest like really seriously. It's on their website. A lot of times if you look up like a school's name and then demonstrated interest, you can see if they counted or not. But some schools will factor in like how much interest you've shown, if you've done an interview, if you've went to info sessions, things like that, into your admissions of like, is this person really interested in our school, or are they just applying because it sounds good to them? And so like I think that that's something that's really important to consider as well. Is like some schools take demonstrated interest seriously and they like factor it into your actual like application.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, you may not know, but clicking onto emails matter a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I know for Pitzer, I wasn't clicking onto emails, and I was like, let me start clicking onto those emails and clicking the links and actually viewing the links. That parts, it goes into demonstrated interests.
There you have it. Attend these virtual events, y'all. So again, we're about to go to commercial break. I want to encourage everyone to write questions in the Facebook chat. We're going to get to them. Make sure we ask our esteemed experts here today. Also, sign up to be a part of this wonderful program. 11th and 12th grade students, teensharp.org/college knowledge, teensharp.org/college knowledge. Be a part of this. Get the help you need, because we all need it.
I think his face like, what is happening right now?
Try again. Go back to the email. and see your email if in case they send anything to your email. Just look at your inbox while we're waiting.
Wait, calm down, guys.
Hold on. Oh my gosh.
Calm
oh
down.
my gosh. It's
Calm down.
happening.
Calm down. Calm down. Calm down, guys.
It's a video.
What's that?
It's a video. It says welcome 2024. It says welcome.
All right. I'm Anthony Phillips. I'm the proud pre-college success manager at TeenSharp, where we support some of the finest students in Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. We're getting into the nation's most selective colleges and universities. So welcome back to another episode of College Knowledge. So we have here today, we're going to talk a little bit more about the different types of colleges there, right? So we all know that there are 4,500 colleges, but again, our uncles, aunties, and cousins only tell us about 5 or 2. So you gonna go to Jacksonville State because my great-great-great-grandfather. So we want to make sure that all of you know about the options that you have. So take us through that. So rapid fire, let's do this conversation. What is a public versus private institution?
So a public institution is usually an in-state school. Well, it should be an in-state school if you're applying to it, because that's how you get the best aid. They usually have less funding and endowments, but they're usually also less selective, which makes it more accessible to other students. But usually they don't have tuition support for students who are under the deferred action, DACA, or undocumented students, so that might be a problem for you. And then private institutions are usually more selective. You can apply to them out of state. They don't always give the best financial aid. You have to look into their terms, but they also are usually more selective.
Okay. And also, what's this? I keep hearing you all mention small liberal arts colleges versus private universities. What is a private university versus a small liberal arts college?
Yeah, so, private universities, small liberal arts colleges, it seems very arbitrary, right? So liberal arts colleges are more along the line of making a well-rounded student. They have a curriculum, core curriculum that normally everybody follows, no matter what major or pathway you take. It helps sort of round you out, whether it be from communications to how to build an antenna 101. It's very much a program there to get you well-rounded and have you figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. And the private universities, and we talked about that. So real quick, Caelin, you mentioned, speaking of small liberal arts college, you mentioned that you had this interest in Barnard, right? If you had to try to convince a student to go to Barnard College, right, why should they look into going to Barnard College? Why is that particularly important? And why did you prefer that particular institution?
So I think a lot of people look at women's colleges as like, oh my God, I don't want to go there because I don't want to be surrounded by all women. There's going to be no men on campus. And it's not like you're in the middle of the woods. It's no men. They're still out of campus. Barnard particularly has a unique relationship with Columbia because it's one of Columbia's 4 colleges, but it's in a different admissions process. And so for me, that attracted me because I was able to have the resources of 2 schools while only going to 1 and being in that smaller environment surrounded by other women. And I think for me, I want to go into STEM, specifically biology, and that's usually a male-dominated field and major. So I wanted to kind of be surrounded by other females who were working to progress themselves and to kind of assert themselves in male-dominated workplaces.
Oh, cool, great. And what's this thing I keep hearing also about small Ivies and this thing also called, colleges that change lives?
Yeah, so the small Ivies are basically all the schools that we're interested in. Caitlin's Barnard, Caitlin's Barnard, or my maybe Pitzer, or so the small Ivies, they're just not Ivies, but they're on the same scale as Ivies and just as competitive and just as rigorous. And then the colleges that change lives, they're just on the same scale pretty much as the small Ivies, but they just aren't small Ivies. But they're just as not as competitive as the small Ivies, but they're pretty competitive, and they center the student experience in student life and are dedicated to changing student life.
That's great. And need-aware and need-blind schools?
So need-aware and need-blind schools. So need-blind means that they don't factor your income when they're looking at your application. This is particularly good for low-income students because need-aware means that they might reject you, not because you weren't a good fit for their school, but because of the fact that they didn't have the finances to meet your need. And so for higher income students, this might not be an issue, but for lower income students who need more financial aid, I would recommend that you stray away from applying to need-aware schools because you don't want to get rejected simply because of your inability to pay.
So Go.
No, I was going to say to Caelin's point, if you're low income and worried about finances, you should definitely look at schools that meet full financial need, meaning that they'll cover your full financial need and expected contribution. So in most cases, your expected contribution is 0, meaning that you'll earn about a full ride scholarship from schools that cover a full financial need.
Yeah. So I want to go to XYZ University in Philadelphia. And I know what type of university this is. I'm not going to say the name, but I really want to go to this university. It doesn't have a large endowment, and it doesn't typically give a bunch of financial aid. What do I do? This is my first choice. Do I make that my end-all, be-all?
I think Tariah can relate a lot to this because she's
ready to
applying
go.
to Howard. But I think,
wow, Caelin. Wow.
It's all love. Good.
But you can look if they have institutional scholarships, because sometimes they'll have like dean scholarships or other scholarship programs for students who might come from like low income backgrounds or certain racial backgrounds, things like that. So looking to see if they have scholarships within the institution that you can apply to, which is why, like Mr. Anthony said earlier, it's so important to get good grades like in high school and have like strong GPA and stuff. But then you can also look at outside scholarships, but know that they are competitive, and so you might not be able to get those to be able to go there.
So should this student have more options?
Yes.
And we ain't talking about Tariah. Because God has already spoken.
Hey, my pastor got me covered.
You.
Listen, and I have a plan B.
Nah, I'm with
but
it.
God is my plan A. Like, I'm just kidding. But for Howard specifically, so I'm really banking on the presidential scholarship and the capstone project, capstone scholarship and other domestic scholarships that Howard offers, and then also financial aid, and then other outside scholarships that I am going to be applying to. But like I said, if the finances don't work out for Howard, I have a plan B, Pittsburgh College.
Yeah.
But Howard will work out.
And that's the whole thing. You want to apply to your first choice college. We always encourage that. And we also always encourage with the understanding that you go in with faith, you press hard, but a lot of students don't have backup options. Right. You always got to have other options, and I think that's really important.
Of course.
And so take us more into like colleges. So if a college or university, you're looking at the sticker price, David, and it says like $70,000, right? And mom, dad argue every other night about how dinner gonna be taken care of. Yep. You paying or I'm paying?
Right.
So what do you that's more like me and my I'm making it personal tonight. But anyway, mom and dad argue every other night. So do they say, we're not applying there, we can't afford it?
All right, so I'd like to say, you right there, I see you watching, and your mom and dad there, do not trust sticker price, okay? Just stop. Don't just look at sticker price and be like, oh, we ain't paying. No, that is not the end all be all. I don't know why they put that there. They just put that there to scare you away. Like, it's just like shoo, like get away from, get away. Like, I don't know why they do that, because you need, it's all based on, the financial situation of the applicant, right? So this comes down to, using net price calculators offered by, a lot of these college websites. And that's where you can find out, using, of course, some of your information, some of your income information, about the price that it's going to cost, right? So do not trust the sticker price. And even when you do get your financial assessment when you apply, and if it's high, negotiate. Your college wants you as much as you want that college. So be like, hey, I'm going to do the price match guarantee thing here and say, this college is offering me this much, but you're a little higher. Could we like talk it out and be like, okay, sure. I won't guarantee results, but I'll say, try it. Just don't be afraid, because I know, like the sticker price is really high, but just don't be afraid to try. Please.
Absolutely. Okay. I love this. Should you be open-minded enough to apply to a college far away, let's say Iowa, or even Idaho, or Maine, like me, which actually was not that far, but for y'all it's 10 hours, I guess. Anyway, the point of the matter is, should you fear that, or you should embrace that? Why should a student embrace going to college
For me personally, I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of Delaware. So distance really wasn't a problem for me. Ooh.
We love Delaware.
I love Delaware.
I mean, hey, like if I can get away for at least 4 years, I mean, why not? So for me, distance wasn't really a factor. So I would definitely say be open-minded because Delaware is only but so small. So I would definitely say explore your options and branch out to other states because you never know what they have to offer.
Yes, because we all know, thanks to Newcastle County grant, that we will have these scholars coming back to support the growth of Delaware and so forth, regardless. And we have tons of students staying in Delaware too. With that, with that being said, no, seriously, go away is fine. You know, and I think a lot of people don't think about why that's important.
Of course.
And families shouldn't really fear the idea of going away and so forth. So, David, like, some students are like, the schools don't have my major. You know, Tariah don't have my major, don't have my major. Like, how do you answer that question?
Don't hit me with that. This school doesn't have my major. I'm not making fun of y'all. I'm just saying, like, 20 to 50% of kids go to college without knowing what they want to do. Most people don't know what they want to do, and 50% of kids switch their major in college, right? This is not something that you have to have, right, or something you're going to be concrete on for the rest of your life, right? Things change. I've changed my interest over the years, over these past 4 years as a high school student. So imagine what college is going to be like. Like saying I don't want to apply to school because it doesn't have my major is like saying, oh, I don't want to apply there because they're not super specifically what I want. Now, I'll tell you this. If you only want what you super specifically want, I don't think you're going to find many colleges outside of like 10, 20 colleges that are all different, all across the U.S., all different kinds of colleges that are very specific to the major you want. What I will say, I guess I got lucky because I'm into engineering, and a lot of schools offer engineering. But I feel as though just to be super open-minded to what you're going to be interested in. So if you want to do something with biology, be open to like the intersections between biology and sort of like other STEM fields and other liberal arts fields. Don't just be like it has to be biology or it has to be this kind of biology or this kind of. And I'm not picking on you, Caelin. I know it was just the first thing that popped in my head. But please be open-minded. That's something that you need to take with you through this application process, or else you're not going to find a place where you're going to be happy spending the next 4 years of your life. Because you're going to change it. You might change it halfway through, and you're like, oh my gosh, why am I here? Why this is such a bad choice. So don't waste that time, money, or energy. All right?
Yeah. Should you go to school for a friend?
No.
No. No.
Friends come and go, don't they?
Right.
All the time.
Just like the seasons.
Ooh.
Exactly. Sometimes I think a lot of students really, pick schools based off of the names that they hear. And, picking a school just based off the name you hear is probably not the wisest choice. Picking the school on opportunities and success based off of what you have been saying is like the wisest choice that there is. And, I just want to commend you all for putting together the process as much as possible. So with that being said, I just want to, before we go to commercial break, I want to remind everyone to please sign up for this wonderful program. What we do is that we provide you with advising, we provide you tours, we provide you with coaching, we help you with your personal statement, we help you put together the list, we'll advocate for you to get into some of these colleges and more. Just sign up to be part of the TeenSharp College Knowledge Program, teensharp.org/college knowledge. 11th and 12th grade students in Newcastle County, sign up right now, right here in Delaware. Keep the questions coming. We'll be right back.
She said, I'm worried about financial aid. Oh my God, that's what they give me?
Hold on.
$70,000.
Watching his face like, what is happening right now?
Try again. Go back to the email. and see your email if in case they send anything to your email. Just look at your inbox while we're waiting.
Wait, calm down, guys.
Hold on. Oh my gosh.
Calm down.
What's happening?
Calm down. Calm down, guys.
It's a video.
What's that?
It's a video. It says welcome 2024.
Awesome. Hey, welcome back. I'm Anthony Phillips, Pre-College Success Manager at TeenSharp, where we support scholars from Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey with getting into the nation's best colleges and universities. And we are back here on the College and Knowledge Show with our experts and our final segment for today. So again, remind you to join us every single week, Tuesdays, 7:30 to 8:30 here on DETV, and also here on the channel, but also on the Facebook as well. Join our program, 11th and 12th grade students. Make sure you get all the information that you need to be successful in college. First, let's talk about a couple of questions. So we are just like, let's say, for instance, this is your first, you're just learning all about this. You haven't even started the application process. Can you all, someone give me a quick run through of how they can get themselves started? How do they, what can they do right now to get started with selecting their college lists and going forward with the process of picking the right colleges based off everything we just said today? Rapid fire.
Make a Common App first. If you're just starting now, make a Common application and Coalition application account, because that's where you apply to most of the schools. We have a really good system, this era, I guess, with everything being digital, we can very much, apply online. And so when we're applying online, all of these schools go through the Common application. So please make a Common application if you haven't started already, because, you have to make one, personal statement, essay, and supplemental essays for the other colleges you're applying to. But the idea is that it makes it pretty seamless, one and done, not one and done, but as close to one and done as you can be for, college applications. So I'd say that's step number one.
Yeah, Tariah, how about yourself?
I would definitely say complete your FAFSA. FAFSA, the earlier you get it done, the better. But then I would also say, in terms of figuring out what colleges you even want to apply to, I think you would have to sit down and reflect with yourself. Quite sooner than not, about what you want to get out of the college experience and what you really want to do in college. I mean, obviously you're not going to have all the answers because it's bound to change, but at least get a general idea so that can help you construct your list and where you want to at least start. And I think that's a good idea. And then even with on those lists, see if those colleges are offering any info sessions, open houses, and that can definitely help you narrow down or expand your list.
Is there a place that they can go to, to search top colleges or just amazing places?
So I would recommend going to college fairs. You can find them, for example, on there's cialfa.com. I'm not sure if that's free for everyone, but they have a lot of college fairs where they'll have multiple colleges who are kind of similar to each other that you can kind of see what are the differences between them and if you would be happy at any of them. And then I think another good idea would be making a kind of heart and mind list, like I mentioned earlier, what is heart factors that are nice to have but aren't necessarily necessary, and then your mind factors are what do you need? Do you need affordability? Do you need things like that are important to have rather than just you want?
Also, there's this thing called test optional, and this year all the colleges and universities seem like they're test optional. What are test optional schools? Why are they important to apply to? What may look for in an application process for colleges?
Right, yeah. Test optional schools, I think they're fantastic, and the reason I think they're fantastic is not just because they're not asking for a test score, but I feel test optional schools, so test optional means you don't have to submit the SAT, the ACT, things like that as a mandatory part of the application process. And so what I find, from test optional schools is that they look at their students that they're admitting much more holistically. So you are not a set of numbers. In my opinion, I think the SAT and the ACT, just again, they test your ability to do well on the SAT and the ACT. They do not, really actually, test how good you are or your performance and, your actual math and science and English and writing in school. I feel as though they're very unnecessary nowadays, and it's something outdated that we should be replacing. And unfortunately, fortunately, COVID is sort of forcing this into the college atmosphere. And so test optional schools look at you as a person, the things you've done. They look at your character, right? They can do this through interviews, through your essay questions, your application, everything about you except, your test scores, your grades and things.
So when should you not submit your, some people might say, oh, it's test optional, but I'm gonna submit my SAT scores, but I got 1,100, 900. Should they submit their SAT scores or not?
I think you should look at your school, number one. For example, if you're applying to MIT, you're gonna need a lot a lot higher SAT than if you're applying like University of Delaware. But roughly, people say usually above 1,300, but it kind of depends again on the school. So you should look at like the median average of the school and like what other students who submitted last year SAT look like, because you don't want to apply with like a really low one and then all of a sudden get rejected when you could have just left it off the application.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Tariah, let's talk about this. Your parents, are they on board with your college choice?
Pretty much, yeah. My mom just like, hopefully the finances are set.
What are your parents afraid of the most with the college application process? What's selecting your colleges?
Definitely finances.
Yeah.
My mom, she doesn't want to admit it, but she's a little nervous for me to go far away from home. I'm the only girl, so she's a little nervous about being in a house with all boys. But she doesn't want to admit it, but that's definitely a fear of hers. But most definitely finances and affording and paying for colleges, as she is a single mother.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Affording college. Good. So how do you ease that fear for them? What do you present to them about the colleges you're applying to?
So I did net price calculators, and there were some that like said they met full need, and then I did the calculator and it was like way more expensive than other schools. So Barnard was really good, and that was one of the lowest numbers when I did the net price calculators. I was able to show my mom, be like, if I get accepted here, like the financial aid will be good, versus some other schools that might be closer to home, but they were like wanting me to pay a lot that I don't have. And so I think like doing the net price calculators, and then also a lot of schools will allow you to like Zoom with their financial aid officers, and you can talk about like your specific situation of like your finances to see like what they could estimate for you. Of course, it won't be perfect because they're not like having your documents right in front of them, but it allows them to give like a rough estimate, which I think could be helpful.
All right, so our last couple of seconds here together, how has TeenSharp been helpful for you? What has made it a good program for you?
I can go on and on about all day. TeenSharp has been amazing. It's just so rewarding to be surrounded by, like I always, keep saying on here, especially to just be surrounded, because TeenSharp centers Black and brown students. So be surrounded by brilliant Black and brown students who are aspiring to go to these top institutions just as you are. To be given personal help. I've sat on Zooms with Miss Tatiana, and she would literally work with me on my essay and give me such candid and great feedback. She would help me form my college list. And even with my advocacy, they have helped tremendously. I definitely would not be where I am with my activism and my advocacy within Delaware without the help of TeenSharp and their network. I'm pretty sure TeenSharp knows literally everyone in Delaware. So that's been of use as well. But TeenSharp, they just sacrifice so much, and it's definitely a program that I recommend anyone being a part of. It's definitely amazing.
And David?
Yeah, I mean, iron sharpens iron. I would not be here today if it wasn't for TeenSharp. Joining 4 years ago, I really got put on the track of, all right, if you really want to go there, if you really want to, shoot for MIT, then this is what you're going to have to do, bud. And here I am, multiple IB courses, and later, an AP at this point too, and it's been a crazy ride, but definitely worth it.
And Caelin?
So for me, it was really difficult. I didn't even know what to think about college when I first joined, because I didn't really know anyone who had gone through the college application process. And so I think for me, being a community of people who also want to go to college is really helpful, because going to vocational school, not that many people are aspiring towards college. They want to do trades. And so for me, it was really inspiring to meet other people who also wanted to go to college and who were making it happen. And then I think being exposed to so many opportunities over the summer, like for example, I am currently learning Mandarin with a program that TeenSharp introduced me to, and I would never have found that by myself. So I think opportunities like these really helped me kind of develop myself as a scholar and then prepare better, not only for college, but for like life overall.
There you have it. Prepare better for life and your future and your success. Choose TeenSharp. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you next week, 7:30. Thanks, y'all.
Of course.
All right.